1073 here. I'm Carrie Danger, and I'm so happy to be joined by Art Alexakis of Everclear Art. You're celebrating the 30th anniversary of your gigantic debut album, Sparkle and Fade. First and foremost, congratulations on such a wonderful success. I got to ask, what are some of the key feelings that you've had while working on the anniversary of this album, the big release and the tour? What are some of the feelings you've had wash over you?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on, and thank you for all those nice words. Just getting back into this record and remastering it, listening to the original mixes and tapes and stuff. I thought I was going to have more of a nostalgic thing about it. Not really. It just was like, I know I have work to do. So when I have work to do, I put my work hat on, remastered it with Brad Blackwood, who's just phenomenal Grammy-winning master, does all my stuff. It's just much bigger sounding than it used to be, less high-endy. But one of the great things is Capitol let me go through the list in the vaults, find stuff there. So there's an extra 8 songs that'll be on the deluxe version, double vinyl that's coming out. I believe it's November 21st. And that's going to be exciting. To have this album as double vinyl and remastered, I can't wait. And I'm just excited about the whole process and doing the set list, playing the songs every night, and just hearing feedback from people on it. Just the whole process of being able to do it. It's special for the fans, but it's also special for the band.
Absolutely. Now, getting into the vault for those unreleased tracks that you had, did you listen back to those and think, oh my gosh, I forgot we did that? And, just kind of having a big laugh about it?
Yeah, there was a couple of those and different versions of songs, some with different lyrics, right? Things that it had evolved. It was really fun to go through. I had more stuff than I could use, and I had to just kind of pick what we put on there, but I think it came out great. And I think hardcore Everclear fans, there's the hardcore fans who are like, well, I've heard every Everclear song that's never been released. I'm like, no, there's a couple on here you haven't heard. I guarantee it. And they're freaking out. They're freaking out about it. So that's fun. The normal fans who have real lives outside of Everclear, they're going to be pleased with the whole package for sure. We found, went through the vaults of Capitol's publicity and got pictures and from old photo shoots and stuff that people submitted. So yeah, there's some really great collages in there, and there's that insert book. It's just going to be a fun package. If you're a fan of the band and fan of this album, you're going to want to pick it up for sure.
And truly a fan of vinyl, because that's I wouldn't say I'm a big time collector or anything, but this is something that I'm looking forward to acquiring for myself. Do you know if the vinyl is going to be any kind of cool colors? Are we going to go classic black vinyl?
No, I know everything, sister. It is 180-gram vinyl, so it's very thick, so it's audiophile. It sounds amazing. Going to be the original green color when it was put out. It was put out on a Kelly green when we released the vinyl when the album first came out in '95. We got the same labels and the same color vinyl. Yeah, and so that's pretty exciting.
Ooh, this was my first green vinyl then. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Gonna be cool.
Not only all that, but you're also touring and you're bringing the magic of Sparkle and Fade's 30th anniversary tour to the House of Blues, October 22nd, 27th. Yeah. And you've played House of Blues before. How does it feel to come back to a venue you've visited in the past?
Well, at this point, we've been to just about every venue a couple of times. So it's really exciting. We're taking 2 bands on tour. We're taking from Chicago, Local H, as our special guest. But the opening band is a band from Detroit called Sponge that took us on tour. They were going through their first 2 big hits off their first album back in '95, and they treated us like gold. And I remember playing, I don't think the House of Blues was there. I think we might have played the Euclid Tavern or something. No. what was it? It was it was over in the, not Peabody's, it was over in the Flats. The Odeon?
Oh, the
Is that
Odeon.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We played that. Yeah. Opening for Sponge there on that tour. And we played Bogarts in Cincinnati. And we're going to play Bogarts again on this tour. So there's a lot of connections going on between then and now that we're really excited about.
That's so cool. That's just like getting together with friends and, playing some music. And oh, I love that so much. Now, to get a little serious, I personally love talking about sobriety. I just celebrated 2 years sober, and I just quit smoking cigarettes like 4 or 5 months ago. And so I'm curious about your sobriety. How long have you been sober?
I've been clean and sober 100% for 36 years. My sobriety date is June 15th of 1989. But I got to tell you, quitting tobacco, quitting nicotine. Nicotine is universally looked at as the hardest substance to actually kick. It's incredibly hard. So kudos to you on that.
Thank you.
It was really hard to do.
Many quits to get to that final. I had a friend who said, and this is what really drove it home, how many last packs are you going to buy? And that's what clicked for me. It was just that,
My daughter got into vaping a couple of years ago, and we got her off it this last year, and man, that was hard.
Yeah.
Really hard.
Oh,
really
my
hard.
gosh. I'm so proud of her. That's so great.
Yeah, she still fights it. She hasn't had any accidents with it, but every now and then she'll use a patch, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Just to keep her from not going back, because these kids, especially kids who are neurodivergent, they're really attracted to nicotine.
Mm-hmm.
And which I started smoking when I was 10.
Oh
So that makes a lot of sense, because I didn't know I was neurodivergent until going through it with my daughter. I'm like, I'm the exact same way as her. And the doctor's, well, you're ADHD too. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Being a huge rock star, staying humble, being sober, and battling MS, what's that like for you?
I don't know. It's my life. It sounds like Tuesday,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I do. I got to do it every day. MS doesn't define me, but it makes everything harder, as does age, as does the fact that I had a spinal fusion, 8 years ago. Everything, getting older sucks. It does. But it also is awesome in a lot of ways, because it gives you a different type of wisdom, a perspective on things, memories, family, all sorts of wonderful things. So, like anything in this world, nothing is all bad, nothing is all good. You got to take it as it comes, and just really just cherish the good times, and just grit your teeth and get through the hard times.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Navigating touring and writing music and hanging out with other people who, maybe I call them normies, they can partake in alcohol or whatever, like not like us. So navigating being around that lifestyle, what's kind of your trick or your go-to way to handle situations that might feel a little heavy? At this point, through sobriety, I don't think it gets easier, but there's still, I feel like there's always going to be moments of like, no, I don't need it. What's kind of your go-to move for when you're feeling a little overwhelmed?
Well, to be honest with you, I work a program. I work the 12-step program, and that doesn't just deal with the actual allergy of the substance. The intensity, the being compelled, that fades with time, but it's there because of the way your brain works. Real alcoholics and addicts, our brains are wired differently. Like people who are neurodivergent, they're just wired differently. And we have to work on it constantly to keep it at bay. That's just one of those things that once you surrender to the fact that you're powerless over it, you just Once you accept that, that's when it just, in anything in life, you accept the way a thing is before you can get through it. But if you keep fooling yourself that it's not the way it is, that the wall is not white, it's actually purple, when it's actually white, then you're not ready.
Yeah.
You're not ready to accept to move on, because you've got to accept life as it is, and it's honest and clean. That's one thing about it that's really great. I love about sobriety. So I don't know if I have any tricks. If I'm having a hard day, I call the sober brothers. That's what I'm taught to do. I reach out, and it always works. People are like, 12 steps don't work. They work if you work it.
Yeah.
They really do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not easy. It's not easy.
Ooh.
But nothing good comes easy,
No, that's so true.
Unless you're 12 years old, you should be old enough to realize that, And it's like, but some men never grow up. They're 12-year-olds forever. They're Peter Pan. And I thought you'd like that one.
I do like that. Okay, so looking towards the future, the band's future, what are some inspirations that you draw from as you continue to write and create?
Well, I have been saying for years that I wasn't going to make another record. We made 11 records for 9, and then 2 other records with other bands. Because of what's going on in the world now, it's just really inspired me to write. So we're going to make a new record next year, and I want to do it a lot like we recorded the basics for this record in 2 weeks and mixed it in 2 weeks. I want to be able to go in to the studio for a week, 1 week a month, 4 months, and have a finished record. That's the goal. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. I'm writing now, and I just want to go in and just make it really visceral and immediate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not overly produced. And I'm excited to do that, and so is the band.
I think that brings a beautiful authenticity, which is exactly what Everclear is. You can tell that from this first album in general. You just got it. You're good people, you're good guys, and you're out here, you're doing what you love for good reasons. And it's just so wonderful. You could feel it through your music. If you could speak to young musicians and also lovers of music, what is something you would tell them just to keep them going? Because times are very hard right now, and we've got so many things. We've got AI, we've got everything in the world itself. But what's something you could tell a young musician to keep them pushing?
Just realize that life is really, really a roller coaster. And when you're younger and things are intense, the highs are higher, the lows are lower. As you go through life, you learn to navigate so that it's still a roller coaster, but it's not as intense, And maybe when you're younger, that doesn't sound like a good thing, but when you get older, it's like, I've had enough of intense. I want things to be just chill. I want everyone to be healthy. And, as you get older, people start getting sick, people die. It's just life. It's life. Mm. And you lose people in your family, you lose friends, people change, relationships end. And you learn how to balance that stuff by just taking what you do seriously, but not yourself too seriously. That's been my go-to. A lot of that I learned in sobriety, for sure.
That's wonderful. I will say, if you haven't read it yet, you would probably love the book, The 4 Agreements. Don Miguel Ruiz.
I read that book.
It's so good.
I've given it to probably about 50 people.
Same. I give it to people all the time.
Yeah, that and The Power of Now.
Oh, yes. Love that one. Well, Art, thank you so much for everything. We're looking forward to the big anniversary at the House of Blues, October 27th. Have a great rest of your day.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.